What's going on, everybody? 2023 is almost here, and that's going to bring out a pretty good year for Servants Releasing in FGO. In this video, I'm going to talk about my top 5 stars that are going to be releasing this year, and a general overview of what they do and why I think they're so strong. Before I go into the 5 stars, I'm going to give some honorable mentions to some 4 stars who are going to be released next year that I think are really good. First, we have Barkas, who is a AoE Buster Saber. She has incredible survivability because she can increase her own health, she heals herself, and with her second skill activated, on attack she can remove buffs from targets and also decrease their defense. She has damage cut. Just an overall great servant to use, especially in challenging content like rail fronts or even story. Second is Valbonsis, who is a single target quick archer. She has a quick card effectiveness buff. She can apply invincibility to herself, apply evade to all allies. She has an MP seal, a skill seal. She has 2 different types of 30% charges to her MP. She can decrease the MP gauge for an enemy, so overall she is really great for any sort of challenging content. And the final 4 star I want to give a shout out to is Habitrot. She is an AoE arts rider, and what's great about her is she is really good at looping. She has an 80% MP gauge, so if you append her second skill to the max, as it's starting off at 100% charge right there. And also she has the ability to yeet herself from the party with her third skill, so if you don't need her anymore, you can yeet her out to rotate another servant in. So overall she is a fantastic arts farmer, and you'll be able to get 1 copy for free after you complete Lost Belt 6, and then the other copies you can get in the friend point gacha, so you can start rolling them out. Now on to the 5 stars, and at number 5 we have Melissan. First, want to talk about her MP since it's really unique. So she actually has 2 different MPs. Whenever she is on Ascensions 1 and 2, her MP is a single target arts MP that allows her to also gain 10 critical stars. However, if she's on Ascension 3, it changes to a AoE Buster MP that ignores invincibility and also gives her a Buster card effectiveness buff for 3 turns. And her third skill also changes depending on what Ascension she's on. If she's on Ascension 1 or 2, she changes to Ascension 3 and then also gets 100% MP charge. If she's already on Ascension 3 when she uses her third skill, it increases her MP strength by 30%. And then both Ascension 1 and 2 and 3, when she uses skill, she gets a turn of invincibility. Melissan's ability to have both a single target MP and an AoE MP is extremely helpful now in JP. A lot of the 90 plus and 90 plus nodes usually have like waves 1 and 2 with a single enemy, so Melissan's able to use her MP to clear that out. And then wave 3 is usually 2 or 3 enemies where you need the AoE MP. And so with Melissan you can switch from using your single target MP on Ascension 1 and 2, and then boom, go to it. AoE MP, 100% charge, super nice. Now one of the big problems I have with Melissan is that MP1, she doesn't really hit that strong. Her MP damage on both single target and AoE is sort of middle of the pack for 5 stars. And a lot of the videos you see of people doing this insane clear comps with Melissan are super strong Melissan, so if you really want her to clear a lot of different nodes, you really need her at multiple MP levels to do all that. Her first skill does give her an attack buff for 3 turns, as well as increases her own MP gauge by 30%, and her second skill does also increase her own crit star gather rate, gives her stars per turn and an instant star bomb. So on the final wave, people want to pop that to sort of like crit out the damage if you're at a lower MP level, or even maybe in the second wave if that single target enemy is high enough. It can be helpful, so she does have tools that can help her, but she has a servant who strongly benefits having multiple MP levels up, and if you only have an MP1, you might need to bring extra support to help her deal the extra damage, so clear some waves. At number 4, I've got Muramasa. He is an AoE art saber, and overall he is also a pretty decent neutral looper as long as you're not going up against archer enemies. Now another servant coming out this year who is also an arts looper is Summer Kama, but the reason I put Muramasa on this list above Summer Kama is Muramasa is also really good at challenging content. His MP increases his own MP strength by 10% for 3 turns, so that can stack while you're looping. His MP also removes offensive buffs from all enemies, and it deals damage that ignores defense. His first and second skills synergize really well with each other. His first skill increases his quick arts buster card effectiveness for 1 turn. He's also able to generate 15 stars on the spot, and increases his own star gather rate, so he's able to absorb those stars. And his second skill, he ignores invincibility, increases his own critical strength, and increases crit star drop rate, so he's able to get a whole bunch of stars and absorb them with his first skill, and then his second skill allows him to ignore invincibility and then do extra crit damage. Really nice for challenging content, as well as just farming if that final wave has a higher health enemy that you need to sort of card down if you're at a lower MP level. Muramasa's ability to loop against most class types, as well as the ability to perform really well against challenging content, is the reason why I have him ranked this high. At number 3 I have Morgan, who is an AoE Buster Servant. Now there are 2 reasons why I have Morgan ranked this high. Number 1 is she is a fantastic Buster Looper. She is a Berserker, so she deals effective damage against most classes, which is really nice. She has a built-in 50% charge, really good for looping, and then just put another 50% charge C on her and then give her a double Koi and Skya setup, and bam, she can loop through a lot of things. On JP, mine's only MP1, and even then I was able to loop through a lot of different nodes, and even a couple of Lados with just an MP1 Morgan and the double Koi and Skya. If you're looking for somebody to buster loop with that's going to be really effective against a lot of different enemies and different nodes, I highly recommend rolling even an MP1 Morgan will do work for you. And now the second reason why I rank her so high is she's actually really good for challenging content. Her MP, it deals AoE damage, which is really good. However, it also has the effect of giving overcharge by 1 level for all allies once for 3 turns. So that is really nice if you pair her with like Castoria and Merlin, which is nicknamed like the Invincible comp. You MP with Morgan, you throw in a Castoria MP afterwards, and that's instantly 3 hits of true invincibility. Her first skill is a party-wide 30% MP gauge, and also a party-wide attack buff. Her second skill is a targetable 20% MP battery, as well as provides 25% MP gain. So she's tossing charges all around to the team. Pair that with like Castoria and Merlin, who are doing the same with Castoria's skills, Merlin's MP. She also has 2 arch cards in her deck. Pair that with the MP gain of Castoria as well. There's going to be a lot of charge going around, so you're going to get constant Morgan MPs, which increases the overcharge of both Castoria and Merlin. So Castoria's going to apply more true invincibility, Merlin's going to generate more stars and MP and healing. So you can see how like the Invincible comp starts to work, and it's super effective against pretty much any content. You can just throw in Morgan, Castoria, Merlin. Her third skill also gives her guts, increases her own crit star gather rate, increases her own critical strength, and generates stars. So this comp overall is just a really good comp to throw into challenging content. Highly recommend, and is a big reason why I have Morgan ranked this high, as well as just being an overall great busting looping servant. At number 2, I have Koi and Skya of Light. She is a supportive servant who opens the doors of buster looping. Her first skill is a 50% MP charge, as well as decreases skill cooldown for the ally for 2 turns. So with 2 Koi and Skyas, you can decrease an ally's skill cooldown by 4 turns just with this skill alone. So with the buster servant you're trying to loop with, you pop their charge skills turn 1, you MP, use double Koi and Skya to get them back to 100% charge, and decrease their skill cooldowns by 4, which is now 5 on turn 2. They MP again, and then by turn 3, it's effectively a 6 turn cooldown erase. So a lot of buster servants like Morgan, as I said earlier, Artoria, Lancer Artoria, they can loop through with a double Koi and Skya setup because of that skill cooldown decrease. You'll just need to plug suit in another support so that the combine of the support's MP battery as well as that servant's MP battery on wave 3 gets them back to that 100% MP charge. Or there's some servants like Arcuid who you'd want to bring the Atlas Mystic Code with instead. Arcuid has a 100% MP battery, but it's on a 7-turn cooldown. And with just double coin Skya on wave 3, it'll still have it 1 turn remaining. So with the Atlas Mystic Code, you would want to pop its second skill. So by wave 3, you can use that second skill for Arcuid again to get her back up to that 100% charge. Now that's just the charge. Her third skill is a 50% Buster Card effectiveness for 3 turns. It increases Buster Card critical strength for 3 turns and increases Buster Card crit star gather rate for 3 turns. And her second skill does apply some special human traits to an ally, but the main purpose I found for me personally is it instantly gives you 20 stars. So with a double coin Skya, that's instantly 40 stars, and on the final wave, if there's a higher health enemy, you got all the Buster Card strength, you got Buster Card crit strength, and you got 40 stars to crit down that final wave after your MP if it has a higher health. There are some servants who can Buster Loop before Koi and Skya, but what Koi and Skya really does is just opens the floodgates to allow a whole bunch of different servants to be able to Buster Loop effectively and easily. And at number 1, I have Oberon. Oberon is a new class. He is a Pretender, and he is an absolutely insane support unit to have. His first skill is a 20% MP charge and also increases MP strength for all allies 3 turns by 30%. His second skill is a 50% battery and also generates 20 stars on the spot. And his third skill is what really makes him insane. It increases the Buster Card effectiveness for an ally by 50%. Really nice. And then the big one, it applies an MP damage boost, which is sort of like an MP strength buff, by 100%. This is an absolutely insane buff to throw onto a unit, and it can pretty much almost double the MP damage your servant does. Now the trade-off for this is, after a servant has this for 1 turn, they get a status called Eternal Sleep, and they basically become dead. You cannot remove this quote buff or debuff, and that servant cannot do anything until they die. So Oberon can give 70% MP battery, split between a 50% single target charge and then a 20% team-wide charge, which that in itself is already really, really good. He can generate 20 stars on the spot, really good. 50% Buster Card effectiveness for 1 turn, super nice, and then that absolutely insane MP damage boost by 100%. That skill, I cannot stress how strong it is, and the great thing about that is that MP damage boost, it works across Buster, Arts, and Quick, so he is great for any 3 card types of looping. That versatility to work across Arts, Quick, and Buster is a huge reason why I have him at number 1. On top of that split 70% charge he can provide, and just that MP damage buff. I cannot stress how strong that skill is. His MP is also pretty decent, but the main reason why you want to use him so much is because of his skills. But to quickly go over his MP, it deals damage to all enemies, it removes all offensive buffs from all enemies, pretty good, and it makes them asleep for 1 turn. It also gives the enemy 1 turn invincibility, so even after you do use your MP, you don't wake them up unless you somehow have Pierce Invincibility on, and it can wake them up then. And that is my top 5 5-star servants that are releasing next year. Let me know in the comments whether you agree or disagree with anything on the list. Subscribe for more content, and I will see you on the next one. Later.